what do you think they should do at quarterback? Not, just what is your opinion there, and who should they bring in, or who should they draft, or what do you think the strategy is there?
I think they should bring in Jameis Winston. At the very least, I think you have to bring in a veteran, like a somewhat capable veteran. Like, don't get me wrong, Joe Flacco, I felt like he had some good moments last year, but he can only do so much, man. I mean, he can't run out of a building if the building was on fire. He just can't move. And nowadays, like, yeah, sometimes you get away with not moving, but nowadays you really need to move a little bit. And I feel like Jameis Winston will bring really good competition to AR. Like Chris Ballard and Shane were saying, like they want to bring competition to AR. Yeah, we need to get something else in the building that can give us some kind of a hope, that give us some kind of momentum. Because I mean, look, man, I get it. Anthony Richardson was raw coming out, but there were a lot of people saying, a lot of coaches when he came out were surprised, were shocked that he was picked that high. And the tangibles, what he's got, are incredible. Like the arm, yeah, he could sling it 60, 70 yards down the field. Yeah, he could run, and he's 250 pounds. He could run like Josh Allen. He could, he has an arm of Josh Allen, but he's an athlete first, man, and he's a great human being. He's the kind of guy that you want to show up on your doorstep and take your daughter away. But I mean, a football player, a quarterback, I don't know. Like, I think once you tap out, I mean, he quite literally tapped out and said, "Coach, I'm tired. Take me out of play." Third down, red zone, $1 million franchise, just like Pat said it. I mean, that's not okay. That's a letdown to yourself, your coaches, the rest of the city. So once that happened, that put the nail in the coffin for me. I'm like, okay, no, he's not good, and on top of it, he does that. No, that's the nail in the coffin. That's not okay. Like, he just hasn't shown, like, he showed improvement. He hasn't shown enough. But what we do at quarterback, I say we at least have to sign a veteran, but I would not be opposed to drafting a guy in the first round. I like we were just talking about. This is something that you have to go all in about. Like, look at the Cardinals. I mean, granted, Kyler Murray hasn't worked out, but what, they drafted Josh Rosen first overall or second or third overall the year before? And the year after, they drafted Kyler Murray. They weren't scared to go ahead and say, "Hey, okay, Josh Rosen, he's not very good. Let's go ahead and get this guy. He looks a lot better. He's more whatever. They thought he would be better, so they took the player that they thought would take them further. So they weren't scared to do that. But the Colts, I mean, I'm not saying they're scared. I mean, I don't think they're scared. I think they're going to stick it out too long with Anthony Richardson. And
Chris Ballard is scared to hurt people's feelings, I think.
I think so too. Like, I think Chris Ballard is a phenomenal human being. Like, everything I say about Chris, it's never personally. Never that. Like, he seems like he cares a lot about his players, but sometimes is that heart too big in this business? Like, at the end of the day, I hate to say it, but it's kind of the truth. Like, the NFL is a business. Business is harsh. Sometimes having that too big of a heart, maybe Chris Ballard cares about his guys so much, he's given them these opportunities because he wouldn't get an opportunity. They wouldn't get opportunities elsewhere, and some of them have turned out a little bit, but does Chris Ballard have too big of a heart to be a general manager in the National Football League?
Yeah, I wonder that at times.
Right.
With the quarterback situation, you have to be a little more cutthroat. I understand, you don't want to like break the rookie early on in his career or give him, too much competition, I guess, in a sense. Like, you want him to play, right? And get that experience. So you didn't necessarily want to bring in somebody who was going to beat him out. But there again, you need somebody to push him, right? And I'm wondering if, that, just especially right now, if that's not the best, if that is the best thing for him. So I was kind of thinking like a Justin Fields, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know why that didn't come to my mind. I love Fields. Love that idea.
He showed some flashes last year with the Steelers, and his playing style is very similar to Anthony Richardson, where he can run and throw both. And if you're going to have the offense already set up for somebody like that, why not have two quarterbacks you can go to? You got Anthony, who gets hurt on a fairly regular basis. this is starting to become a league even where you can have two quarterbacks just like you can have two running backs, man. Why not?
Yeah.
Like especially if you're going to have a running style quarterback. If you're going to go with that kind of game, that power run game, well then go get a backup guy who has a similar play style, can do some of the same things. If because I'm not real big on Sam Darnold. I guess I'd rather have Justin Fields versus Sam Darnold.
I agree.
I just, especially with the playing style, the way the team's set up. When if you're gonna go from Anthony Richardson uh, uh, to him, then you're not. It's the playing style is just too different, right? Um, but if we're not going to do something like that, then also agree with drafting somebody like a Will Howard. I like what he did in the championship there. I think he's probably undervalued even right now. I think people kind of look at him like, oh, well, he's just on a good team and that kind of thing. Well, he was good before he went to Ohio State. He's a big kid. He's a smart kid. He's got a good arm. Like, I think he's got just as good a chance as Shador or any of those other guys, to be honest. So that's if you can get him, say, in the second round or something. If he doesn't move up or through this draft process, interview process, just go shooting up the board like I think he might. I could see us drafting somebody like him. Like if you're going to go with somebody with a different play style, instead of going with Sam Darnold, go draft somebody. If you're going to go with something with a vet, then go with somebody with like a similar play style, like a Justin Fields, if that makes sense.
Right. And there's a guy in college that I do like. It's he's Dylan Gabriel from Oregon. I mean,
Yeah, he's
he's
interesting.
been in big moments there. He seems like he's played pretty good. Now people, do say that he's a smaller quarterback, but I think he's like 6 foot. So that's smaller, but it's not like too crazy small. But
He's like your field general size quarterback.
right.
He's not necessarily like your strong arm guy who throws it real deep, but and not necessarily a scrambler, but a playmaker and a field general type quarterback.
Right. So I mean, yeah, there are options. There are options out there. I like the Fields option better than the Winston option. Absolutely, 100%. I like that better than that because Winston, we know who he is at this point in his career. At least Fields, like he has like potential. He has like a mountain to climb. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Winston's already
think he
kind of
can
at the
actually
top.
beat. I think Fields could probably beat out AR for the job. To be honest.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. And I think Shane would do a phenomenal job with Fields. I mean, look what he did with
Yeah.
Hurts, right?
If you had a quarter so Fields can basically do what AR can do on the ground. And then he can complete more than 50% of his passes. So just last season, if you had that, you probably would have made the playoffs.
Right. Yep.
I mean, we were only like
So.
a couple games. Like if we were to win the right games last year, you only needed one or two. And
Right.
55, 60% completion percentage on your passes in some of those games probably would have got you the win. How many one-score wins did we have? Or how many one-score games did we have last season? It was a bunch.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It is.
at this point, I'd like to see Fields. I'd like to see what Shane could do with him. I think the combination of him and AR would be interesting and actually would be a good thing for the team.